You have spoken a bit about education and that sort of thing. And you know, Clyde and I started this Josephine Foundation thing a long time ago. We're coming up on 20 years of
Whoa!
doing this. It's quite an
Congratulations!
organization. Yeah, it's quite an amazing thing, and the development of
Yes.
young people. And we always ask somebody of your stature when we have them on, what do you feel, what role do you feel the arts play in the development of young people?
I got a
And,
question for Clyde.
Sure.
oh, this is good.
Tell me about. Well, we know about Mystic Merlin, but how
Yes.
did you get into? I mean, I can't. You can't tell me all the secrets, but that's a big jump.
One of the greatest electric bass players of all time. He
Oh,
was
yeah.
rated as one of the top 100 electric bass players, and he's a man that I also admired and studied. But then you went on to play with B.B. King, Wilson Pickett, Gil Scott Heron, Freddie
Yeah.
Hubbard, George Benson, Herbie Mann, Janice Ian, Laura Nero, Aretha Franklin, Roberta Flack, Al Kooper, Thad Jones,
Yeah, who's who?
King Curtis. I mean,
Uh,
Allman Brothers. I mean, how did you get that good? There was a bass solo you did with King Curtis on a song called Memphis Soul Stew.
oh yeah.
And that was, I guess you would say, that is the defining moment in your career that just made everything change.
So I just built upon that original Latin bum strictly straight Latin. If you grow up in New York, you're playing with Pucho and the Latin Soul Brothers, Willie Bobo, and Raymond T, and everybody else in the Latin world. This stuff is secondhand to you.
It was so funky and so hip. When I heard Jaco Pastorius the first time play, I said, hey, he had to have been listening to Jerry Jemmott. And of course, later on, he came forth and said, yes, you were my inspiration. I actually lifted some stuff that he had gotten from you to amalgamate into his own unique style, which he brandished with Weather Report and Joni Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
you were the one person in the world that Jaco Pastorius let do an exclusive interview on DVD about his music and his particular style. How was that dealing with Jaco?
That was an incredible experience.
I'm gonna tell you, when I first heard the first Jaco Pastorius album, I said, well, maybe this will just go away. Maybe people will forget about this. I can never play like this. This is amazing. How can one man be playing these harmonic chords, melodies, and soloing? No, man, this is unreal. I don't believe it.
Everybody wanna know why I sing the blues. Everybody wanna know why I sing the blues. Like been around a long time now. I'm ready to pay a few more dues.
Make a run of it.
Jerry, how did that affect your music going forward? Once you finally were able to get in touch and be comfortable with what was happening to you spirituality wise, how did that enter now into how you approached music and felt about music? And can you put that all together a little bit?
Well, actually, nothing's really changed. Actually, I just have a vehicle in which to get it done. I didn't have the right, you know, the right vehicle to put my ideas into, in a sense. So nothing's really changed. The idea of wanting to do good, wanting to help people, make them feel good, that was always there. But having it done in a grander scheme made it possible for me to kind of put myself, get out the way, and let it happen. Basically, at that particular point, it gave me the ability to do that. And you asked me questions I've never been asked before. So
That's
I know,
good.
my
That
answers
is a
are
good thing.
completely what I can think of at the moment.
At the
You
moment,
know,
yeah.
5 minutes from now, I might think of another answer. But right now, nothing has really changed except that I have like something. I have support.
Did you change your diet because of Buddhism?
Oh no, everybody! I changed my name after the accident. I changed my name first, and people thought that was because of Buddhism. And I went back to using Jerry Jemmott. I made a lot of records. In fact, with Thad, I recorded under my new
Thad
name,
Jones, yes.
Rassan Falme, and quite a other few records I made during that time. When I on my way back, I wanted to come back at something new. I did not have much faith in my old self. That's how distorted I was at the particular time. But then again, wanting to be somebody else, wishing somebody else was nothing. That's nothing new for me. When you're paranoid, you have all kinds of mental fixations that you go on that you're not comfortable in your own skin. You always strive to be outside of your skin, somewhere else, somebody else. So it's all there. And we, as humans, we all have these same thoughts. Believe me. However, we address them, whether we listen to them, it depends upon our mood, our circumstances.
Yes.
You know, the human brain is something else.
It's
That's
amazing.
for sure.
To deal with all the stuff. I mean, look what we put together here.
Sure.
And be able to have a conference out of necessity. But we have these same, we can think about the speed of thought is faster than all of this. So it's like you asked me the question. I had to think about it, but then not think about it and just tell you what I'm thinking now. And not really think about
what
it.
you're feeling.
Well, I'm feeling. I'm trying to remember, how has it impacted? How has it impacted my life? Giving me support, foundation. The best way to describe it is giving me a vehicle to ride in.
Okay.
And
how
my first answer was the right one. I'm trying to make it something else,
right.
But it's really the first answer.
Mm-hmm.
How many bases would you say? How many bases do you own now? Electric bases do you own?
4.
Okay.
Not 34.
Do you still play? Do you
not
still
40.
play acoustic anymore?
No.
No, you stopped altogether.
Well, I would like to play it. I love the instrument, but physically, I had that accident took that out the equation.
Mm-hmm.
And fortunately, I had both of my shoulders replaced this year, so the possibility that I can come back is there. But I don't really have the desire at this particular point. With the time, the commitment to put in, there's so many things that I have to address at this particular point. For my own pleasure, yeah, but not professionally.
I see.
I love the sound of it. There's no getting away from it. But to make that sound, you got to put hours and hours of work.
Yes. And working with your bowing, your arco playing is another world, man.
Oh, I was good at that. I was want to tell you a funny story. I mean, Eddie Gomez is up there, okay?
Oh man, he was
always
a monster.
up there. And so when I wanted to get into All City, I contacted Marvin Topolsky. I found him some kind of way. I don't know why, how, or whatever. But he was the principal bassist, or one of the bassists at the Metropolitan Opera House. And so I would go to him for lessons. He'd come to my house for lessons. And he got my bowing straightened out. So when I auditioned, I came in like third, basically, in the whole city. and Eddie was second.
Wow.
The first guy was a little guy who had some obviously out of balance physical disabilities. Okay, he was the principal.
Who was that?
I don't even know his name.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't know. I mean, it was like a summer. You know, you do that thing, you're in and out. He outplayed all of us,
Okay.
and that was like a wake up call. Also, you don't got to be the best. Just be, you know, do your best. It wasn't about being the best. It's about doing your best.
Yes.
So that was another source of inspiration to see that occur, you know, in my life. You know, it's like the things that you live with really teach you if you listen.
Clyde told me at the break that you are now out in California.
Yeah.
And so you left New York, he thinks about 5 or 6 years ago. Is that accurate? Yeah.
It'll be 8 years in
Wow,
March.
8 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Was there a reason in particular you left New York to go out to California, or just
Yeah, a lot of steps. You know, one of the steps, I moved from Mississippi out here.
Ah, okay.
I spent 7 years in Mississippi.
Wow.
Yeah, my brother-in-law, my sister, they had a house down there, and then they were down there doing civil rights work in the 60s. And they got some things got tied up, and I tried to help them out by going down there and living in the house. And my beautiful wife, we moved down there and spent 7 years down there. But then her son got sick, and we had to be close to him. Although she really didn't like the place. It was hard. We have a lot of good friends from there, believe me. We're still friends to this day. And so much, I mean, look at the Grammy Awards. I mean, most Grammy winners come from Mississippi. You can look at the history, you know. So
they have quite a history, that's right.
You know, so it was like a chance to be in touch with the music, the roots, whatever. I went for it, you know. I took a shot. We went down there, and as life has it, we had to come to LA to be close to Marvin. Before he passed eventually, but he made it for 2 years after he had a massive stroke, and we stayed out here. That was the goal. We weren't going back.
Sure.
You know, this is a permanent move.
You have spoken a bit about education and that sort of thing, and you know, Clyde and I started this Josephine Foundation thing a long time ago. We're coming up on 20 years.
Whoa!
Of doing this. It's quite an organization. Yeah, it's quite an amazing thing, and the development of young people. And we always ask somebody of your stature when we have them on, what role do you feel the arts play in the development of young people? And how important is it to be part of the arts, to be part of the curriculum, not just thought of as an extracurricular thing, but an actual part of their development in school?
Well, to put it succinctly, there is no education without the arts. And music is the envy of all the arts. That's a quote.
Well, I like that.
We can use that quote?
Not from me.
I like it.
I read it somewhere, but it's true.
It is very true, yeah.
I mean, what you can do with music and even with painting, like I say, the arts, music is the envy because it requires so much of your brain to work and cross-reference information, emotions, feelings, knowledge, that you don't get that experience with anything else. In fact, one of my students, which is one thing about Richard Davis, in fact, told me I should teach in '76. After he told me to chant, he told me to teach. But the chanting wasn't getting everything done. He said, how can I get better, Richard? He said, teach. So I started teaching in '76. And so one of my students brought me an article from the Wall Street Journal about what happens when music meets the brain. This is like in 1981. Fast forward for 5 years anyway. That was inspiring to know that what goes on actually up here was actually documented. It was not, I could feel it, but actually, this is 1981 now, the Wall Street Journal of all things, okay? With this great musical combination of music and brain activity was documented. It had been active before that, but this was made it to that point. And I was really impressed by that and have kept it close to my heart in terms of developing. And when I tell my students, I always ask them, well, what do you do for a living? Because most of my students are older people who have jobs, who now have gone past the formative years and who want to develop their music, and they come to me for whatever reason. And I always try to get them to correlate between their actual job they do every day in their life with the music. So the combination, they're intertwined, so they can see one is helping the other, just to make them enlighten them to that fact. I might have gotten that from Buddhism, I don't know, but it just seemed to make sense.
That's interesting. You know, the other question we would ask, if we had some young people in front of you in a different time when it was safer, we probably would have tried to do this that way. But they would be amazed by your career, obviously. But one of the questions that would come up without fail would be, what 3 pieces of advice would you give young people today that want to go into that field of music or performing arts?
You can do it as a hobby, professional, for joy. To go into the field, it's going to require a lot of dedication, a lot of study, a lot of mental fortitude. You learn about yourself as you would learn with any other thing that you're learning how to do, basically. But if you can find a higher purpose for it, that kind of gives you that that edge, I believe.
Yeah.
That's what gave me my edge, believe me, because I didn't have the chops or the tools to really do this. I mean, look at Clyde. I mean, this cat.
Do I have to look at 30 years I've been dealing with him?
I mean, this cat has everything. He's got the ear. He's got the memory. He's got the skills. He's got, you know, the martial arts training. He has the dedication, the confidence, the courage.
Yeah.
All these things that were ingrained to him, probably with his coming up as his father. His father was a great man. He had all these things going to support him in that way to help his musical tools foundation.
And you never had that at all, did you?
No, I didn't have it, but I had passion. I had passion, you know, that's what I had. And I call it solar energy. There's like 10 things I have figured out. I got the first 5 from the great Connie Hawkins, the basketball player. I heard him on a TV show, on a radio show, talking about what makes a team great and how one person has to be the star, but other people back him up, basically. But at any given moment, one person can be the star, basically, or the lead person, the point guard or the scoring guard. And it just like woke up something in me that I realized music was the same way. I'm embarrassed because I can't remember, but
okay.
that's the beauty in writing a book. I have to shame you right now. I can't remember half the things I wrote. But give me a minute so I get it for accuracy, okay? Because I don't want to leave out one. I like accuracy. When I came as a kid, it didn't matter. I couldn't hear shit no way. So whether it was accurate, was a B flat or A or B natural, I couldn't hear the difference.
Right.
You know, I really couldn't. It was on the paper. Oh yeah, I can hit it. But to hear it, oh, now you're sweating me out. And to tune the bass, oh, ain't never a problem now. I mean, just conveying the bass in tune.
Now we have automatic tuners, digital tuners.
Play accurately. I remember Richard would say, I hang out with Richard, he says, check out the bass player. Let's see how many notes he's missing.
Whoa.
Because playing the bass is very hard. You create on the spot every second. You're changing the groove. You're responsible for a lot of things. it's very hard to play with tremendous accuracy. Now, Clyde here is another story. He don't miss nothing. Okay. So
Boy, you're getting, your head's getting swollen, brother.
I know the difference. Okay. My brain can't lie to me and tell me one thing. I know the difference. I see a physical manifestation of it. Okay. Anyway, what I got from Connie Hawkins was skill, knowledge, technique, the groove, and creativity.
Mm-hmm.
Those 5 things. And actually, they're surrounded by 5 other things. Now, you can measure those things to a degree, but they're surrounded by commitment, passion, compassion, physical endurance, and mental fortitude. Mm. So these are like the 10 things that the Jocko had.
Right.
Jocko had all of this.
Right.
Okay. And in fact, he inspired me. I started writing this book in 1992, and which was 5 years after he's died. But he gave me a lift up when I was working with him on the video to like kind of like validate what I was thinking, that I was on the right track, and to actually see dedication and mental fortitude playing out in real time right in front of my eyes. Now, I grew up listening to it with other musicians, great musicians playing. I'm not going to tell you that. Most of them have this. Mm-hmm. You got to have mental fortitude, physical endurance, commitment and compassion and passion. But inside of that, you have to have skill, knowledge, a sense of creativity. Okay? So these things all kind of intertwine and work together. At one point, what's going to be the focal point? It's going to be my passion, or it's going to be my skill? It's going to be my knowledge or my technique? And given a point of music, like within, bar 2 is going to be skill, bar 4 is going to be creativity. It can break it down to be that simple. In terms of knowing what you have to work with, then you can retrieve it, file it away, and pull it back in when you need it. And when it comes to you, download it, so to speak, it comes through you, you know how to apply it. You know where to go to get it to match it, so to speak. And it happens so quickly, you don't even have to think about it because you put the time in to file it away.
That's a hell of a roadmap for young people, I'll tell you that. That is.
I hope so. That's when you write a book, people don't even read books. I don't even read my own book. That's the nature of a book. You put it, you close it up, and you don't think about it. You have to actually live it. You have to live these things.
You got to live it. Yeah.
You have to live it, and it becomes part of you. So it becomes accessible to you. You see this file cabinets back over here?
Yes.
I haven't been in there in 8 years.
Wow.
Okay. If I go in there, I'm going to misfile something and get it lost. I'll never find it if I put something in there. So you have to find a way of filing and retrieving things. So when you file stuff in the way in your own, whatever system you use, you have to find a way to retrieve it, basically. It's a retrieval system.
Yeah, that's great. Great way to look at everything. Jerry, what's on the agenda? What's on the agenda for you now going forward?
Well, I got to get my book published. Mm-hmm. I'd like to make a video, an instructional video. Another one has been put on hold for about 2-3 years now. And my color sound music.
You said color sound music?
Well, it's used, it's funny. That's the other day. I got inspired by a friend of mine who called me and kind of lit a light, kind of relit something that I've been working on. Me and Herb Lavelle worked on this. He started me on this color sound music 22 years ago now. And basically you see a color and you hear a sound. Or you hear a sound and you see a color. Mm-hmm. People have something called synesthesia where they have something that happens on a regular basis. This has nothing to do with that. It's just a matter of being able to use music and colors to explore the possibilities of the imagination. Okay. And ironically, color sound music, as we know it from Pythagoras, he started this system 3,000 years ago, and he only used the white colors of the keyboard on the piano, basically, the C major. Mm-hmm. All the notes in C major with the white keys on the piano. My system uses the black keys also. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so he didn't have names for the black keys. He just ignored them, basically, and everybody just used the white keys when you talk about color sound music, which is the red, the orange, the yellow, the green, the blue, the indigo, and the purple. That's how people associate call sign music nowadays. You know, that's how it's been. But my system employs the black keys, so I had to give them names. I had to name something that we live with in this world that we can relate to, like pink, like gold, like turquoise, like silver, and brown.
Mm.
And if a note gets so high, it's going to turn white. And it's key though. And if it gets so low, it's going to turn black. But it'll be it's in its key. It won't be in in another key. So basically, that's how it works. It's really simple. So it's a cross-referencing thing. I got a few notes down. I did get a software program that will explore the whole 12 notes, basically. So you have a MIDI file that compares convert an audio signal to a MIDI signal, and the MIDI signal converted to a Hotmail color. It's really just that simple. It's on my website. It's all over my websites. I'm not afraid to share it at this point. I'm not worried about copyright infringement. I got a few tricks up my sleeve. it's not all there.
Just give them a taste.
Just a taste.
So your website's www.jerryjemmott.com?
You have that one. You have jerryjemmott.com. You also have Solar Energy.
Solarenergy.com.
.org. No, .org.
Oh, .org on Solar Energy.
Yeah,
okay.
and that Solar Energy is SOULER. As
wonderful.
opposed to SOLAR.
Yes, the soul. Absolutely.
And solar energy.
Yeah, that's great.
From me to you, Andrew. From you to you, Cindy. And Giovanni back there in the background.
Yeah.
Putting it together.
That's it. Well, listen, my friend, we sure hope that you enjoyed visiting with us tonight. Listen, we hope you'll come back again because we got hundreds of more questions to ask.
I got a question for Clyde.
Sure.
Oh, this is good.
Tell me about, well, we know about Mystic Merlin. But
Yeah.
how did you get into, I mean, you can't tell me all the secrets, but that's a big jump. But then again, maybe it's not a big jump. You just saw it and you went for it. Is that what happened?
Well, my uncle Bill Withers had asked me to put together a band for him to perform on Saturday Night Live.
Okay.
And so he had come up here to the house in the Bronx on a Friday night, and we were talking in the back room, and I was doing magic for him. And he was like, wow, man, you're pretty good. What are you going to do? Keep doing magic tricks to impress your little girlfriends? Why don't you take the magic and put it together with your music and do something with it?
Wow.
And I was like, wow, yeah, that's a good idea, but it's just hard. He said, listen, you can come and live with me in Beverly Hills if you want, but I can't help you. I said, what do you mean? He said, I don't know where the young musicians hang out. You have to find that source. So he kind of gave me that idea of putting it together. And that's where I think the idea kind of first germinated. He was the inspiration.
Bill Withers is your uncle, huh?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Wow. The talent runs deep.
And so when we finally got it together, I was signed to Capitol Records. He came to the studio in Los Angeles, California, in Hollywood, when we were recording the second album.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was really a big day for everybody to see him sitting there, and the engineers are like, "Wow, man, Bill is here." I mean, will he record with us? I'm like, "No, he's got his own deal in Columbia."
Well, that's a story that
Great.
needs to be expanded on some more.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too. Jerry, thank you a million for being with us tonight, and we can't wait to have you back again. Stay safe out there. Make sure you're careful and keep making music.
I will. I feel good. I got 2 working arms now. It's been
Now that your shoulders are done, right? Now that the shoulders are okay.
Yeah, both of them, and they work as it's been a month of rehabilitation. I got a ways to go, but when they're working together, they get so much more done.
Okay.
That's great news.
It's been a rough 2 years, but it's good. I'm good. I'm not
Good.
complaining.
We're gonna check up on you in a couple weeks, and as soon as you find out who's producing that album of yours, who's publishing it, you
That
let
book,
us know.
I hope
We'll get
it
it
happens
out.
in a couple of weeks too. That would
That'd
be
be
great.
nice.
I'm feeling good about it. I really am. The
Well, that's great
crossover with
stuff.
the academic community.
That's great stuff. Great stuff. Jerry, thanks a million again.
You're welcome, Andrew.
Folks,
Okay.
Mr. Jerry Jemmott. Thank you,
Now,
Jerry.
Yes.
didn't get killed.
Peace. Stay safe.
Okay, brother.
Clyde, he is not only a treasure and just so much in touch with what's going on with his spirituality and his artistry, but he's just a genuine good guy. And he's a lot of fun to have on, and we've got to get him back. There's so many things we just ran out of time. We just didn't have enough time to talk to him about. So I'm looking forward to getting him back here and talk some more.
Yeah, after his book is published, we'll get him to come back and talk about the stories in the book.
Yeah, and folks, we remind you to stay advised of all the events that the Josephine Foundation has by following us on our Facebook page and our very new YouTube channel and our Instagram account. A special thanks to our very special guest, Grammy Award-winning artist Jerry Jemmott. You can follow him on his webpage at www.jerryjemmott.com. On behalf of my co-host, Mr. Clyde Billard, our producer, Mr. Gio Vitozzi, and myself, peace, strength, and love until we see you next week on Odds and Ends Life, Entertainment, Theater, and the Arts. Good night, everybody.
Good night and stay bright.
Amen.